Good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Yambo. We apologize for starting the news late. This is due to circumstances beyond our control. Top stories in our news tonight: police arrest protesting resident doctors following IG's warnings. TEMBO speaks out on segregative approach to holding of political rallies by the state. One person confirmed dead in Saturday's car drifting accident. And in international news, West African leaders meet to discuss Mali coup. And in sports news, FAR's Women's League BUSA Queens hand YASA first defeat of the season.
We celebrate our first anniversary of starting the news on Camnet TV on the 23rd of May 2021. Our aim is to deliver world-class news that is balanced and factual without fear or favor.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.
As we celebrate our first anniversary, we show you the team behind the Camnet TV World News and show you some of the news clips that made headlines.
On behalf of management and the entire newsroom, happy anniversary to Camnet News.
This is one of the areas that was highly affected by floods.
Behind me is a group of persons living with cross-cutting disabilities who every month gather at this place to receive alms from well-wishers.
The Monetary Policy Committee decided to maintain the policy rate at 8.5%.
This incident provoked Kambu's daughter to slap one police officer, a development that annoyed the men and women in uniform.
At the revelations of President Edgar Lungu's running mate, Professor Nkanduluo, clad in her ivory flamboyant outfit, walked in majestically as a running mate should.
The latest is a couple of Lusaka's Kanyama compound. They've assaulted each other over a meager 20 kwacha.
Kudiansi masinya mayoka waenda kujagulako chiwabwa cha 5 wagulako na tonshaba bana bazazi bazashita enjoy.
Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To you, our viewers, we say thank you for supporting us as we continue bringing you nothing but the best.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, the news in detail. A tug of war among stakeholders regarding tobacco production and consumption has erupted in Zambia as debates re-emerge over the health consequences of the crop and financial prospects. Some farmers in the eastern province in Chipata district say they are into tobacco cultivation because it is so far among well-paying crops. They say imposing severe redirection on the crop would negatively affect their livelihoods. We have more in this report.
Japan Tobacco International is among firms that have highly invested millions of dollars in this industry. This is its Chipata branch in Eastern Province. JTI purchases 11,000 tons of tobacco from small-scale contracted growers annually. It invests $6.8 million annually in tobacco outgrower scheme and provides loan inputs to 7,000 small-scale tobacco growers, extension services and markets for their crop.
What we are saying is that they are targeting tobacco companies and giving statistics which, to me, are very unfair. If you look at the value, right now, as I'm talking to you, you ask the farmers. If you ask farmers, tobacco is giving you a lot of problems in terms of health. So if you compare the money you get from tobacco and the money you spend on you getting healed or getting cured or medical attention, because tobacco has, have contracted some illness from tobacco, is more. Definitely the farmers will say no, that they don't believe that. The major market for our tobacco is not in Zambia. The major market of the tobacco that we produce here, which has got a good market, and they like it, and they like the quality of tobacco coming from Zambia, is a European market. So whatever is being produced here, it is taken to Europe, and in Europe they manufacture cigarettes, and those cigarettes are sold in Europe, and they have a huge market in Europe.
And some stakeholders have been advocating for the enactment of the Tobacco Control Bill 2020 to, among other things, declare tobacco product, tobacco device, nicotine product, or nicotine device as restricted products, provide for protection of present and future generations from the devastating health, social, environmental, and economic consequences of tobacco use. nicotine addiction, and exposure to the harmful emission of tobacco products. I also spoke to some tobacco farmers who supply the leaf to JTI. Their fear is that they may lose a source of livelihood if there are more restrictions on tobacco cultivation.
Etitaniza zambiri zamene tipezera mu community muja. Ulemerero tilinao kumanyumba kwatu. Kumanga mu manyumba, kugula mu vehicles, ma motorbike, manjinga zakaparasa, kugula mu mangolo, mangombe, kuoneka bwino, kuvala bwino.
Na zamtilima kofa kaona zambiri sizidibuta ulowana sikuti pesa buli kwa chakoti. Ndambe uzinangu zindalama zimakhaza uchepera kwa na kwa.
For others, providing alternative sources of income would be ideal.
Ngati zatipasa ndrama yokwana bwino kulibe vuto ena iliyonse ngati watipasa mbewu kapena ni ameneyo kapena ni inangu but itikwanisa kutipasa ndrama ititandiza timapeza ndrama once in a year. So ngati chaka chapito peze ngati tipopeza ndrama yolongosoka nishi tavutika. So ngati mbewu yamene izabwera itipasa ndrama palibe vuto ena iliyonse feti zakonga chabe pamene hivyo kambiri monga pa umoyo wanga mubanja yanga ufunika nipeze ndrama 50,000 kwenda kusogolo kulingana wamene machita pa nyumba panga na wana wanga na mene samalira nyumba yanga.
And Mr. Mutonga says the firm's desire is to increase production in Zambia to enhance tobacco's contribution to gross domestic product (GDP), but that policies are not favorable.
We need some I would use the word certain policies that will help to do some investment and to invest in the machinery to produce or manufacture cigarettes is a serious investment. And any investment or any investor, when he's doing investment, he expects a return on his investment. And also he expects that there should be long-term relationship with the people where, or the country where he's doing investment, and also with the investor.
Now the question is, financial benefits or health aspects? Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The National Biosafety Authority has seized over 2,000 tons of genetically modified GMO maize seed. The seized GMO seeds had not yet been offloaded on the market for distribution. The authority announces that it randomly collected 74 samples of different varieties of maize from some farm fields and warehouses in Lusaka, Central, Southern and Northern provinces and subjected them to GMO tests using polymerase chain reaction. Of these 74 samples from various farmers across the 4 provinces, 4 samples tested positive to genetic modification and have since been seized on site by the authority. Authority Communications Officer Sandra Lombe says during the investigation, the 4 samples were subjected to tests at local and international laboratories. She says the affected farmers have been directed to immediately confine, contain and secure the products as per the provisions of the Biosafety Act. Meanwhile, Ms. Lombe says the NBA has continued with the sampling and testing of the seed products from the farms and warehouses countrywide. She adds that the authority has continued with its monitoring, inspections and surveillance across the country. She says they remain committed to ensuring that any GMO product or a product that may contain GMO authorized on the market is safe for humans, animals and the environment. The Zambia Police Service has indicated that 1 person died while 2 others sustained serious injuries in a fatal road traffic accident which occurred on the 29th of May 2021 at about 17 hours at Nasdaq in Lusaka. Involved were pedestrians identified as George Chulu, aged 33 years, of Woodlands, who sustained multiple cuts on the right leg, and Chongo Wembia of Emersdale, who sustained fractured legs. Zambia Police spokesperson Esther Katongo tells Camnet News that also involved was Molenga Chiti, aged 37 years, who sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced dead upon arrival at UTH. Ms. Katongo says the accident happened when Nason Kapambala, aged 26, while driving a Toyota at Auteza registration number BAF 4637, lost control of his motor vehicle due to excessive speed during a motorsport drifting and hit 3 pedestrians, of which 1 died. She says the body of the deceased has been deposited in UTH mortuary awaiting post-mortem, whilst the other 2 are admitted to the same hospital. Here is a reminder of the accident in question, though sensitive viewers are warned against watching it. Meanwhile, the Zambia Motorsport Association, ZMSA, has been directed to suspend car drifting sports and spinning events. Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA Chief Executive Officer Gladwell Banda has made the directive in a media statement, saying the sport will only resume once safety standards are improved to avoid accidents. Mr. Banda has since conveyed a message of condolences to the bereaved family, describing the accident as unfortunate. Some protesting resident doctors have been arrested by the Zambia police on allegations of holding illegal processions. The arrest has been confirmed by Resident Doctors Association President Dr. Brian Sampa. Earlier in a statement, Zambia's Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja warned the doctors against engaging in protests. Mr. Kanganja said the protests were against the COVID-19 health guidelines. Mr. Kanganja has charged that the doctors have been gathering illegally, going against their own recommendation on public health safety. And Mr. Kanganja says some politicians are deliberately disregarding provisions of the law by conducting political activities outside what the law provides for. He says other politicians have opted to disregard the advice that regulating officers have been given by opting to go ahead with public activities even when advised not to. The Inspector General has since directed all regulating officers at all levels to be firm on the ground and ensure that law and order prevail at all times, and has warned that all those that would want to disregard the law should do so at their own peril.
Resident doctors on Friday commenced their go-slow after a failed government promise to meet their demands. The Resident Doctors Association of Zambia directed that all emergency departments should be manned by the people on call. Emergencies on the ward should be attended to, while those not on call should report for work at 8 hours and assemble at a selected meeting point until 16 hours, which is knocking off time. The doctors felt cheated after the government allegedly failed to honor its promise to pay arrears, gratuities, and creation of registrar positions and employment of the more than 500 doctors. However, this decision did not sit well with authorities, and Association President Brian Sampa had his license revoked by the Health Professional Council of Zambia, HPCZ. Meanwhile, Dr. Sampa has confirmed to Camnet News that some of his colleagues have been arrested. He has called on the police to release the doctors because they have not committed any crime.
This is unacceptable. This form of intimidation is getting too far. We've got calls coming from the police wanting to detain a number of doctors. Dr. Tsanga was called, another member of the executive. There is also another member who was called Dr. Tolopu. They have been calling people like Dr. Winnie and myself. Dr. Chikonde was just captured at ADH, Arthur Davidson Hospital, which is very bad. Please, all we are appealing is that these doctors be released with immediate effect. We don't need people to be arrested for speaking out, just wanting to air out their views and asking for what they are rightfully owed. We are not going to tolerate this, and the membership is very upset with this. They are not happy. We expect the government to respond and remove these doctors from the cells. They don't deserve to be in cells for just asking for arrears, setting allowances, and also for employment. These are things which they are owed.
And Sunday, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja cautioned the doctors against the fine guidelines.
Regard of this condition of his suspension is illegal. Should he not desist, the police will move in to effect an arrest on him. This should also serve as a warning to all those attending Dr. Sampa's illegal meetings on Zoom platform, because they'll be picked up for attending an illegal meeting. As police, we have enough capacity to follow up on all those attending this said Zoom meeting. The new law on cyber security and cybercrime has made our work easier in this regard.
Patrick Sako, Camnet News.
Meanwhile, National Democratic Congress NDC faction media director Emmanuel Malite has advised government against intimidating civil servants. Mr. Malite says the move taken by government to arrest and suspend the license of Resident Doctors Association President Dr. Brian Sampa is unwarranted. HPCZ on Saturday suspended Sampa's practicing license after he directed association members to effect a go-slow due to government failure to fulfill its promise of employing 500 doctors and paying of staff debt amounting to over 150 million kwacha in unpaid gratuities and settling in allowances. Mr. Malite says government's failure to fulfill its promise is a clear indication that they do not value the effort of the doctors and the contribution they bring on the table in maintaining a healthy nation.
We are at a critical hour where we have been warned of the third wave, and doctors cannot be going on go slow. The appeal to President Lungu and the government is, can you just pay doctors? It's very unfair. The frontliners up to now, those frontliners, they were promised to be given something. They haven't been paid. So how do somebody risk their lives going and they are not being paid? The economic challenges of this country are I don't know where we are. Pay the doctors. Pay the doctors. You have all the money to spend gathering, dishing out money in these campaigns, but doctors are suffering. All our appeal is we cannot afford to have a go slow in a critical hour where we need these men and women to save lives. And you are quiet in a critical hour where we are in a place where they are warning of a third wave.
Vice President Inongoina has called on the church to continue winning souls to Christ. Mrs. Gwina says it is government's desire to see a united church, which she says would translate into a united nation. The Vice President says peace is of utmost importance, especially in an election year like this. And Synod moderator Axon Banda has urged politicians to practice issue-based campaigns so that people make the right decision come August 12th. The duo was speaking during a Jubilee celebration worship service at the Reformed Church of Zambia Charleston congregation in Lusaka. We have more in this report.
Vice President Inongoina has called for peace ahead of the August 12th general elections. Speaking when she graced the Jubilee celebrations at Charleston Reformed Church of Zambia worship service, the Vice President called on the church to pray for the nation's peace and unity.
It is a year for personal reflection and to free yourselves from various issues that have enslaved or hindered your participation in church activities. I'm glad to be part of this worship service and I truly have been blessed by the message delivered by our resident minister, Reverend Dr. Clement Mwanda. You have inspired us. Synod moderator, brothers and sisters, I'm reliably informed that this congregation was established in July 1971. This year, the congregation is celebrating 50 years of its existence. And during this period, we have been informed that 8 ministers of the word have been part of this congregation and contributed immensely to the development of this congregation. I want to remind you that we are going for general elections on the 12th of August this year, in a few months' time. Please, I appeal to you to maintain peace now and during the elections, and probably even after elections.
And Synod moderator Dr. Reverend Axon Banda has advised politicians to be responsible enough and campaign in a peaceful manner.
The fact that Zambia is a beacon of peace and that this peace must be replicated even in times of elections like now. RCZ prays that no form or manner of political violence shall prevail in this Zambian society and in the Zambian political arena. And to achieve this, a call for issue-based campaigns and no name-calling or character assassination is hereby demanded by the Church.
Meanwhile, Vice Synod Moderator Dr. Reverend Clement Mwanza has called on all to have a grateful heart and ensure that peace prevails at all times.
Kumlemekeza, kumtokoza, ambienu, popeza, Mulungu ni wabwino nditu. Ndiye Mulungu amenelela matamando onse. Mulungu amenelela kukwezedwa. Because he continues to say, I know the plans I have for you. Plans not to harm you, but to give you a future and a hope, and to make you prosperous. God is promising greater things. Even as we are celebrating this jubilee, popeza ni Mulungu yeka amenali nayo maplano paife ngati paife ngati mabanja, paife ngati Kristu, komanso paife ngati dziko la Zambia.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine. 2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Opposition Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, has condemned the conduct of the Patriotic Front government through the police by cancelling a scheduled United Party for National Development UPND political rally in Kitwe, while allowing a huge procession by the PF in the same district and the same day. PET Party President Sean TEMBO says such double standards should not be tolerated by any well-meaning Zambian. Mr. TEMBO has charged that the PF and its government have been consistently and continuously intimidating and preventing the opposition from meeting their supporters in the past 5 years since the last election, while they have been busy having huge rallies without complying with the provisions of either the Public Order Act or the COVID-19 regulations. The opposition leader has since advised the UPND party and its leadership not to tolerate the intimidation of the PF towards the opposition in this official campaign period. He says his party will hold a campaign launch rally on Sunday, the 13th of June 2021 at Mahatma Gandhi grounds in Mtendere compound in Lusaka, which he says will go ahead with or without police permission.
We are very disappointed with the conduct of the PF and its government in cancelling a scheduled UPND rally yesterday in Kitwe, while at the same time they proceeded with a huge procession in which people were not wearing face masks or adhering to any health provisions. We believe that this is total double standards, and it is worth noting that the PF have been exhibiting these double standards for more than 5 years now, since the last general election, whereby they prevent the opposition from being able to undertake their party activities while they themselves are busy campaigning. And it is high time that our fellow opposition political parties are united and we stand up to this PF intimidation, because we cannot have a situation whereby only one political party is campaigning as we head towards the 2021 12th August general elections. We need to be able to level the playing field. And if the government is not willing to level the playing field for us as opposition, then we need to do it ourselves. And basically that is our call to fellow opposition political parties.
Meanwhile, the Zambia We Want alliance partner of the Republican Progressive Party RPP, Leslie Chikusere, says President Lungu cannot be directing the police to break the law by arresting innocent citizens in the election year. Addressing the media Sunday, Mr. Chikusere says it is unconstitutional for such to be happening in a democratic country like Zambia. He has advised all alliance members to go flat out and spread their political messages across so that people can vote for the change they want. Mr. Chikusere says the banning of political rallies is a strategy by the government aimed at blocking the opposition from reaching out to the masses.
Why has the PF all of a sudden decided to slow down? Before the election period, they were all over dishing money, they were all over having Duma rallies showing that they've got momentum. No matter the elections, the authority, which is the Electoral Commission of Zambia, has said go and campaign. Why is the PF slowing down? So our saying, this is the issue. Why is the PF shying away from the campaigns? Why is the PF all of a sudden not ready to campaign? We want you to campaign. Tell the people what you have done, whether you have fulfilled the promises. Have you reduced the prices of commodities? Have you created jobs? Have you reduced the exchange rate? You appointed governor. When you were appointing the governor, you said that I'm appointing this person and his mandate is to reduce the exchange rate. Have you reduced the exchange rate? Have you created employment? You were talking about Mulungushi textile. Has it been revitalized?
And Alliance for Development and Democracy, ADD Media Director Constantino Mubita has expressed disappointment with the behavior being exhibited by some unknown political cadres of burning other parties' billboards. Mr. Mubita states that the acts are retrogressive, considering that this is a political period. He, however, says burning of billboards will not stop the change of government, as people have already made up their minds. Mr. Mubita has meanwhile urged youths from the opposition not to be deterred with sabotage acts by some political cadres.
this issue of burning the billboards, the issue of burning the posters, burning the campaign materials, it's not a good way of doing elections or doing the campaigns. Don't burn the change. Please, please, I'm calling upon all the youths in this country, especially from our alliance pattern. Please don't burn the change. Do not let anyone use you over the 2 liters of chibuku. This is our future. Whether the PF wants or not, we are going to change government. We are changing government this year. I know the conduct, the act is born out of hatred, out of fear. But we are sending this message as youths to our brothers in PF camp. Please, do not be afraid. We are brothers. Let us not fight. Let us not kill each other over the content of Chivuku.
Operation Young Vote Executive Director Ges Nyirenda has suggested that the term of office for parliamentarians must also be streamlined to 2 terms as it is with the presidency. Mr. Nyirenda believes leadership shouldn't be in perpetuity, as being observed where some MPs have gone on to serve as many terms as possible. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Nyirenda observes that establishing term limits will bring about quality leadership on account that each MP has to prove him or herself in the first term. He says this will also encourage leadership rotation as opposed to having the same leaders. Mr. Nyirenda says this issue must be advanced in view of promoting good governance.
Indeed, leadership is not and should never be in perpetuity. I mean, this is why we have people go to school. They start at preschool, they go to grade 1, they go to grade 2, 7, 9, 12, university, and so on and so forth, so that they are prepared to be able to take leadership at different levels. And if we are going to get someone who thinks that they are going to be a leader in perpetuity, that's unfortunate. Leadership must exchange hands. In fact, a good leader is one that prepares those that are behind them so that they are able to take over when they run, even just for 1 term. People should not want to run forever. No. People should ensure that they run we must begin, in fact, talking as a citizenry, as a people of members of parliament staying. The most should be 2 terms, just like president. I mean, if one has failed to push for laws in parliament in the first 5 years, in the second 5 years, and do you think they will do it in the next 5 years, for 15 years? No. They must show cause that even for them to be elected or re-elected in the second term, that they did something in parliament in the first 5 years. So that is what we need to be talking about right now.
Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapichimpanga, has urged India to continue tapping into Africa's vast investment opportunities. She stated that India was Africa's biggest trading partner, with India and China increasingly investing in Africa in manufacturing, mining, telecommunications, infrastructure, banking, pharmaceuticals, information technology. Mrs. Kapichimpanga was speaking at a special virtual session organized by Bharat Chamber of Commerce to celebrate the commitment reflected by the partnership of India and Africa in strengthening of bilateral relations and emerging prospects of economic cooperation in the changing global order. She said more effort was required towards continental and global economic recovery, with a deliberate need to examine how business would operate post-COVID-19 era, because people were used to the touch and feel kind of trade. Mrs. Kapichimpanga said Indian investors should not look at the size of the population of a given country in Africa, as each one had unique opportunities.
Zambia boasts of political stability, peace and democracy. We have adherence to the rule of law, positive and investor-friendly environment, investment guarantees as well as security. Zambia has abundant natural resources, presenting an excellent investment and trade opportunity. Private sector-driven government economic policy is readily in place. Zambia boasts of attractive investment incentives for investors. Duty-free access to the regional, wider Africa, European Union, and USA markets. Zambia has progressive banking, legal, and insurance services of international standards.
This is Camnet TV News. We take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Through the Link Zambia 8000 project, the country has seen increased economic activities as producers no longer face difficulties in accessing markets. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
It's been 365 days of bringing news on your screens. 365 days of giving you nothing but factual stories. 365 days of giving you those breaking stories, and 365 days of giving you balanced and unbiased news. The last 365 days has made Camnet Television as the most trusted TV channel in current affairs. We together look forward to another 365 days. Remember, Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We now look at international news. West African leaders will meet in Ghana on Sunday to decide the thorny question of their response to the double coup by the Malian military's Colonel Assimi Goïta, who is now officially the country's leader and has been invited to the summit. The heads of state and government of the West African Community of States, ECOWAS, meet from 2 p.m. in the Ghanaian capital for an extraordinary summit exclusively devoted to Mali. It comes after Mali's second coup in 9 months on Monday, led by Colonel Assimi Goïta, who on Friday was named as the transitional president by Mali's constitutional court. The new leader said on Friday his appointment was for security reasons during a meeting with the Malian political class.
African leaders are meeting in Ghana on Sunday with one thing on the agenda: Mali. The country saw its second coup in the space of 9 months this week. Mali's new president, Colonel Assimi Goïta, will also be at the summit. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, invited him to Accra on Saturday for consultations. It's been a turbulent week for the country. Goïta seized power on Monday after soldiers detained the transitional president and prime minister. They were released on Thursday, saying that they had resigned, although international onlookers believe they were forced resignations. A constitutional court on Friday completed Goita's rise to power by naming him president. The move risks plunging the country back into further instability. This week, the UN sounded the alarm.
What we are facing is a severe disruption of the transitional mechanism, the transitional institutions that were put in place after the coup last year, with the joint efforts of the region, the ECOWAS, together with the African Union, the UN and many other partners.
ECOWAS has warned that it could reimpose sanctions on the country, but may be reluctant to further punish an already fragile economy. Sanctions were lifted last year when the transitional government was put in place. World leaders will be watching to see what the 15-nation bloc decides. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that France could pull its troops out of Mali, saying that France cannot back a country where there is no longer democratic legitimacy or transition.
Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi says the situation following the eruption of a volcano is now under control. More than 1,000 refugees left a camp in Rwanda to return to the Democratic Republic of Congo on Saturday, officials said, after escaping over the border fearing Mount Nyiragongo would erupt again. Africa's most active volcano roared back to life a week ago, sending terrified people in the nearby city of Goma running for their lives as rivers of lava destroyed homes and claimed nearly 36 lives. The eruption stopped, but warnings in recent days that it could blow again sent nearly 400,000 people rushing from Goma, with thousands crossing into Rwanda at a nearby border point. Around 3,000 people sought refuge at a temporary camp in Rugerero, about 10 kilometers from the border.
The DRC's president says the volcano situation is calmer in his first statement since the Nyiragongo erupted last week, destroying thousands of homes and killing more than 30 people. He says the situation is under control. It is serious, but it will not get out of hand. I want to go and see for myself how our compatriots are being looked after. But also to give them comfort and support. Embracing the calm, more than 1,000 refugees have left shelters in Rwanda to return to the DRC. They feared a new eruption of the Nyiragongo. A new warning came several days ago and around 40,000 left Goma. On Saturday, an estimated 1,200 had left to return to the city. I decided to go back to Goma because I feel that the danger is past. My house is in good shape. If it erupts again, we'll come back to Rwanda. But others are stuck with no homes to return to and are in overcrowded camps, where there's a fear of a coronavirus outbreak. Volcanologists say the worst-case scenario is an eruption under nearby Lake Kivu, which would emit dangerous gases.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Baoleni United Sports Academy, BUSA Queens, Saturday afternoon recorded their second home victory of the season after they silenced YASA Queens 4-1 at the new Margaret Malakatwe Baoleni Stadium in a rescheduled Week 7 encounter in the first Women's Super League encounter. BUSA was going into this game coming from a goalless draw against Queens Academy, while YASA defeated Zambian Institute for Sustainable Development ZISD Women Football Club 3-0, so there were a lot of expectations, especially that YASA had never lost a game in as many matches as they have played this season. However, BUSA's Tisilile Lungu, who was voted as the fans' player of the match, scored a brace, while Regina Chanda and Elizabeth Lubasha contributed with a goal each to inflict a painful first loss of the season to YASA, who found the back of the net through Patricia Lampi as the scores ended 4-1 in favor of BUSA, who are known as Giant Killers. This story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports News. As we end the news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once more. The police arrest protesting resident doctors following IG's warnings. Sean TEMBO speaks out on segregative approach to holding of political rallies by the state. One person confirmed dead in Saturday's car drifting accident. And in international news, West African leaders meet to discuss Mali coup. In sports news, First Women's League BUSA Queens hand YASA first defeat of the season. The Camnet Wild Verse of the day is coming from the book of John 10, verse 11 to 12, and it reads, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired man, since he is not the shepherd and doesn't own the sheep, leaves them and runs away when he sees a wolf coming. The wolf then snatches and scatters them. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Thanks for watching Camnet TV News. Bye-bye.